remote, the Zoom's not working on the remote right now.
Of course. Hold on.
And a pleasant good afternoon on this Friday in July. It's the 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championships presented by Osaka Hockey. The gold medal game today featuring the likes of Vancouver with a record of 3-0-1, and the white uniforms taking on Milan, also 3-0-1. Milan in the red, Vancouver in the white. Should be a fun one here in the U-18 gold medal match here at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Hatfield, joined by the one and only Brent Underwood, reigning Patriot League Goalkeeper of the Year from American University. Brent, this should be a fun matchup with two teams that have been probably eyeing each other since the start of this event, knowing what they were capable of, and we're going to see some outstanding players put their skills on display.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. And this U18 group, all around, all of the teams that have been here have had loads of talent, skill, potential. So I think this is just going to be the culmination of all of that work throughout this weekend, really bringing it all together for this championship.
Let's tell you how they got here. Vancouver on Wednesday, edging Montreal 4-3, had a draw with Mexico City at 2 apiece on Thursday. Nudged by Lake Placid 2-1 yesterday, and then squeaked by St. Louis 3-2 earlier in the semifinals. We'll see St. Louis coming up in the bronze medal match against Paris, and Paris came up just short against Milan, and Milan getting here, and they're in the red unis as we're underway. Possession first belonging to Vancouver, but Milan prevailing over London 3-1 on Wednesday. A 1-1 draw with Athens yesterday, 3-2 slipping by Amsterdam before that 1-0 shutout of Paris earlier today here at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. Another hot one, another humid day here in the month of July in Virginia Beach. But what's new, it's summertime, and we will try to dodge the threat of severe weather and storms and all that precipitation that we've seen in different doses throughout the week. But we will give you the lineup for each of these two teams, and we'll start things off first with Milan here. And again, we're watching right now Vancouver in the white uniforms with possession here to begin this matchup. But with Milan, they are coached by Anna Rogers, and we'll go in numerical order for them in terms of their standouts. You've got from Winnetka, Illinois, 2027 forward, Kayla Chudger. She's from the Illinois State Champs New Trier High School. 114 is Olivia Puffpaff from Saline, Michigan. Anna Kosek from Prospect, Kentucky, 115. She's committed to Miami of Ohio. We'll talk more about her as we move it along. 116, Leilani Stewart from Columbia, Maryland, 29 goals this past year at Longreach High School. Anna Arnold from Bethesda, Maryland, wearing 117. She's committed to Northwestern. 118, Annie Lee from Bel Air, Texas, from the class of 2027, a midfielder and forward. 119, Isabella Blunda from Madison, New Jersey. 120, Ava Ewing from Chatham, New Jersey. 121, Hedley Coop from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. She's from the class of 2027. Another midfielder from the class of 2028 is Hannah Poncheroli. She's wearing 122 from St. Louis, Missouri. Shannon Bach, 123 from Darien, Connecticut. 124, Georgia Schmitz from Greenwich, Connecticut. Keep an eye on her. The midfielder from the class of 2026. Antonina Aponte, 125 from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, as we're going to see almost a chance there, but it's going to go the other direction, as they were right there threatening the goalkeeper. Kate Staley, 126 from Glen Elg, Maryland. 127, Amelia Blood from Uxbridge, Massachusetts, a Northeast Elite Club standout who's committed to Wake Forest. 128, Alexandra Agostini from Fairfield, New Jersey. And then your two keepers, 151 is Caitlin Moran from Essex Fells, New Jersey, from the class of 2027, and also from the class of 2027. It is Eliza Lewis from Louisville, Kentucky, out of Louisville Collegiate. And that is the lineup for Milan. We'll give you Vancouver's here in a moment. And again, our game is brought to you today by Osaka Hockey, as we watch in motion right now. Bren, Milan on the move here. Another chance that they were threatening moments ago as we were telling you the lineup for them. But Vancouver trying to keep them at bay here in the early going. First 5-6 minutes, is it really the filling out process for teams when you get to a gold medal, bronze medal match?
For sure. There's a lot of nerves that go into bringing a team to a gold medal game, even though, these are brand new teams for these players. Stakes are a little bit lower. It's still, it brings a lot of joy to be in these types of games, a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. So, the first couple of minutes are, trying to bring that level of energy down, try to compose your team, get some solid shots on cage, and yeah, pretty much going from there.
We're going to get our first corner of the game, as it was an airborne opportunity, and then it's going to result in Milan getting that first corner here, and they're in the red unis. Our entire broadcast team today, consisting also of Kayla Hodge, our producer, engineer, Seanan Shannon on camera, Jack Lowe manning the ship for us, as well as Nick Senti, as they're helping bring you this broadcast today on Cova Sports TV and through USA Field Hockey, as the first corner is coming up here for Milan. And it's going to go back the other direction, as they didn't really get a good clean shot on goal against the two keepers for Vancouver. We'll give you the numerical roster rundown here for Vancouver in a second, but the two goalkeepers, Molly McGibney, 135 from Montpelier, Vermont, 2027 standout, and also from Pennsylvania, from Mechanicsburg, Olivia Schweigert, 136. They have two very, very capable, talented goalkeepers for Coach Caitlin Paquin of Vancouver. And their team, the rest of their squad, in numerical order, 113, Tess Hankins from Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania. Shiloh Weinstein from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, is wearing 114, a forward from the class of 2028. Lily Oliver, 115 from St. Louis, Missouri, at a Harvard commit from the class of 2026. We'll talk about her, I'm sure, as our broadcast moves along. Camilla Lutt from Pennsylvania, 2028 forward and midfielder who starred with WC Eagles' program that won some championships earlier this summer. 117 is Elise Breen from Wilmette, Illinois. Breen, a forward and midfielder from the class of 2027. Sarah Annetsberger from Northbrook, Illinois, is 118 out of Glenbrook North High School, a forward who had 22 goals and 10 assists this past season. Jack Shaw from 119 out of Exton, Pennsylvania, a 2027 midfielder. 2027 midfielder wearing 120 is Caitlin Gorman from Montclair, New Jersey. Finley Katz, 121 from Englewood, Colorado, is a midfielder from the class of 2027. Also from the class of 2026, you have Anna Reister from Midlothian, Virginia, a Old Dominion commit out of Trinity Episcopal. Anna wearing 122. Kalia Uvito from Annandale, Virginia, wearing 123, a midfielder from the class of 2026. Caitlin Paul from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, wearing 124. Claire Clark from Saline, Michigan, 125. Elizabeth Wilson, 126 from Shaker Heights, Ohio, and midfielder and back from the class of 2027, and a back from the class of 2027 wearing 127 is Claire Turner from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And rounding out the unit to go with those two keepers we mentioned in McGibney and Schweigert is 128 from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, Nadia Gross from Springside Chestnut Hill Academy, a Columbia commit for Vancouver. So there you have it. That is the roster rundown for these two teams, and just a real bevy of talent for each squad here, Bryn.
Yeah, what's great about these U-18s is, there's a good bunch of them that have already been committed to school, so it's nice to hear how their stories are continuing. after post high school. And a lot of these players, these classes of 2027, are actually, a lot of them are just starting their college recruitment journey, or at least, the part where they can actually verbally commit to a school. For those that haven't been a part of the commitment process yet, uh, high school athletes for field hockey are not allowed to verbally commit to a university until June 15th going into their junior year. So the class of 2027, this is the start of their window to be able to commit to a school for their college career.
And you'll see a smattering, if you follow social media, the various commitments across the country over the next 3 to 4 months. There might not be a ton everywhere, but there might be some, and depending on how the recruiting's going, if they really start to feel the love from a particular school and program. As we saw moments ago, Gross was on the move with it. We just highlighted her. It's going to Columbia for Vancouver in the white 128, and Vancouver's got possession again now, as that's going to be stopped. Good job there defensively for Milan. But again, coming in 3-0-1, 8 goals scored, 4 allowed for them. Twice as many goals allowed for Vancouver, 8 surrendered so far, 11 goals scored. So you could argue the case Milan's had a little bit better goalkeeping, although you never know the competition level some of these teams may see as they get through pool play and then the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really always say whether goals scored or goals against. These teams both played 2 completely different teams in their pools. So your goals scored and goals against don't necessarily mean one team might be better than the other. They had 2 very different levels of competition, both strong competition, but some of them might have been, challenges within the 23 meters, and some of them might have been within those circles. So some more goals, some more shots, some more strong defensive plays from their goalkeepers.
Came mighty close to getting that second corner awarded to Milan, who will race in with another player on the screen. It looks like that is Antonina Aponte, I believe, racing on for them, 125. So now back to work goes Vancouver, trying to get out of its own attacking third here. But here's a good shot off the move, and it's going to be scored. And put it on the board as Milan breaks the ice. A good job to put that one through. We'll see if we can stay with that young lady who scored that goal and tell you who exactly it was, with the mouth guard here running right at midfield past 114. We can see if we can stay with her. We'll try to get you that name here in a moment. But that was a nice job, and that was not super close to the net, Bryn. That was an excellent job for Milan to strike there. And you could sense the pressure was mounting for Vancouver, and they're getting it to pay off with a goal here in this first quarter, not even a full 10 minutes through.
Yeah, just a great shot across the cage looking for that far post. And that was just a reward from how strong and how high that initial press was, really forcing Vancouver to try and send that ball back and around. Not enough ball speed on it. Milan was able to take advantage, get the intercept, take it in, and for an immediate score.
So we'll see if we can wind it back and give you that goal score here for Milan, as they were able to strike first in this matchup. Coming at the 6:06 mark, we'll call it. Hard angle to tell, again, with those red unis and the dark numerals. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to catch who exactly had it. I'm wanting to say, Brent, it could be a 4 as that third numeral. It could be right here, 114 in Olivia Puffpath. But right as that happens, another goal is scored as it's tied up quickly by Vancouver. They waste no time to get on the board to tie things up here with just around 4.5 minutes to go in our first period, as they're able to pay that one off. Outstanding job going off balanced and scoring that.
Yeah, just a great...
I think that was a Netzberger, by the way.
Oh, amazing. So Netzberger, just an excellent shot off of her back foot on that reverse. In a space of contention, it wasn't easy. Milan was really putting the pressure on that shot, but able to get it off, get it far post. 2 really strong strikes from the top of the circle for both of these teams.
Indeed, it was 118. Sarah Netzberger scoring that goal to tie things up at 1-1 for Vancouver. We mentioned Glenbrook North High School forward, who had 22 goals and 10 assists. So just like that, it's even Steven here 2 goals within a matter of not even 2 full minutes of each other as they're able to pay that one off in a big, big way.
Yeah, and Nutzberger from Illinois, as we mentioned before, she's a Max Field Hockey Top 100 member, was also a part of the Illinois State Championship team with her high school, Glenbrook, back in 2023. Actually, she won that state championship against teammate right now, Eloise Breen, who plays for New Trier, was runner-ups for that championship game against Glenbrook. Eventually came back and won the championships this year for the state of Illinois. So some rivalry in Illinois for Eloise and Sarah. However, they both have to be on this team for Vancouver now.
Caitlin Gorman in Vancouver trying to navigate the sideline on the right near side, but it's going to be poked away by Milan effectively as we're down to 2.5 minutes in our first quarter. It's tied at 1 apiece in a entertaining gold medal match for U-18 here at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. These two teams coming in without a blemish. Both have had 1 draw and 3 wins apiece. As right now in the white unis, Vancouver trying to add to the momentum they gained with that goal from Nutzberger at the 4:30 mark of our first quarter. And that time on the move, running into a player, was Gorman. She'll toss it up ahead to Sheila Weinstein. Weinstein coming forward and so going to the turf and making it happen for the goal. Weinstein puts it through with 1:50 left in our first frame, and just like that, Bren, it's a 2-1 lead for Vancouver, which trailed at 1-0, not even 9 minutes in.
You know, for a game that kind of started off with a bit more possession play within the 23, it really picked up at the end of this quarter with 3 great goals. I mean, we just saw Gorman with that great run down the middle of the field, was able to pass the ball off to Shiloh Weinstein, who made an excellent baseline run, pulled the ball just enough off the baseline to get that reverse shot into the back of the cage. Hey, a lot of talent in her side of the family, too. Her twin sister, Irie, is actually going to be playing in the bronze medal game just after this one. So hopefully she has the same luck as her sister does right now.
I love the fact her teammates go and gather her, but she was going to the turf and able to score impressively here. Coming up at the end of our quarter, you'll hear from some of the partners that help bring you our broadcast on Cova Sports TV. You're watching the U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey. And again, hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe button on our YouTube channel with Cova Sports TV. And also make sure you bookmark on your phone or your tablet or your computer, whatever device you're using, at usafieldhockey.com. You can go to /Nexus for more about the junior and senior Nexus events and everything that they've got going on with this tournament presented by Osaka, and also links to the Turning Machine app, which tells you about the schedule and scores for all of the teams and all the various age divisions participating here at the training center this week. As already we've crowned a couple of champions. The U-14 title was won by Athens, and the U-16 championship won just 3 days ago by Paris. The U-21 title coming up this Sunday. 1 quarter in the books. It's Vancouver doubling up Milan 2-1 here in the regional at the Regional Training Center in the U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey. We'll take a timeout and come back with second quarter action right here on Cova Sports TV.
From credentials to luggage tags, even time standards tags for competitive swimmers, Bag Tags creates durable and distinct functional sporting events tags that are not only used as a security measure, but are also treasured keepsakes, marking special moments and milestones in an athlete's competitive career. Bag Tag services some of the most notable sporting events across the country. Fully customizable, totally unique, and made in the USA. Visit bagtagsinc.com today.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game!
Grow the game.
Grow the game. Grow the game.
Grow the game.
And we're back here. It's 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey, the gold medal match, which features Vancouver and Milan. It's a 2-1 lead for Vancouver on top of Milan. Alongside Bryn Underwood, I'm Matthew Hatfield, as we saw 3 goals scored, Bryn, in the last 6:06 of the first quarter. And it was shaping up to be one of those tug-of-war power struggles like we saw in the U-16 division in the gold or bronze medal matches. But then the scoring came through in a big way for both squads, especially the momentum here that Vancouver takes into the second quarter.
Yeah, just in those last 5 minutes of the first quarter, we just really saw a huge effort on both ends of the field. It took a couple minutes for us to get there, but once Milan opened up with the scoring, it just, as you said, exploded from that point. Saw a couple more goals from Vancouver, 2 unanswered. We'll see how both of these teams sort of adjust to that speed of play. I think both of these coaches, going into the quarter break, is going to be talking about, all right, we are creating opportunities on goal. How do we now enforce our defense to start limiting the other team?
And here's Vancouver on the move, trying to make something happen here as we're almost a minute through this second quarter, but Milan's going to get possession back as that transition opportunity ran out of steam. One of our partners for today's game is Gatorade. Stay hydrated with Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel, as the athletes are making sure they get plenty of that on this hot and humid Friday in July. Milan trying to escape the double team, effectively applied there by Vancouver. Coach Paquin's team coming in at 3-0-1. The one draw for Vancouver in this event coming in the 2-2 game on Thursday against Mexico City. Don't forget, we have the bronze medal match after this one is done with St. Louis and Paris, both at 2-1-1 so far. And working that far sideline now as Milan's trying to get some daylight to work with. But again, Vancouver stepping through there to make a play happen. Now they're trying to get away from that far sideline area, see if they can get it to, as you see on the near part of our screen, 118 down there, Netzberger, who scored the first of 2 goals for them. The second goal scored by Shiloh Weinstein. And now trying to get attacking near the cage, and that was going to be deflected out of play with just under 13 minutes to go in our first half.
Yeah, it looks like in goal now for Milan is Katie Moran. Excellent goalkeeper in her right, is a member of the U-16 junior national team, was also a state champion in New Jersey for her section. New Jersey has about 5 different sections, so she won her state championship with West Essex High School, and she's also a Maxfield Hockey Top 50 member.
That's fantastic. If you're going to get to the championship, the gold medal match, or even the bronze medal match, you better have outstanding goalkeeping, and these two teams do. We talked a little bit about Milan's 2 keepers and what they bring to the table, specifically Molly McGibney, who is part of D1 Vermont State Championship run, 93% save rate, and Olivia Schweigert, who's committed to Shippensburg University. That for Vancouver, I should say. Milan, you mentioned Moran, and then the other goalkeeper from the class of 2027 out of Louisville, Kentucky, is Eliza Lewis, who's got a 4.0 GPA, Louisville Collegiate. So you have 2 good options. It's not like sometimes, this in hockey or field hockey, you get stuck in a game, you got a goalkeeper who's struggling, you can be out of the game quickly. But I think the way these 2 teams have scored early on, and though it is 2-1, and it could certainly shape up to be a 4 or 5 goal game for either squad, but they've got to feel like they have the capabilities, any of these 4 goalkeepers, to shut the other one out the rest of the way, right?
Yeah, these goalkeepers, just a lot of strength. You have to have someone in the back line who's able to not only hold the fort down defensively, but also, as we said, with communication. Your goalkeeper is your quarterback for your team. They have to be able to communicate to your defense, who then built up all the way up to your forwards. That starts with the goalkeeper. And if you don't have a goalkeeper who's going to be able to talk on your back line, then you don't have really the brain of your operation in order to create a moving unit that is a strong field hockey team.
So here it is now with Vancouver going airborne, and now the far sideline working. And again, play halted for a second. Now they'll restart here with A chance with just under 11 minutes to go in our first half. Milan scored that one goal. They had the penalty corner as well, but they've yet to draw another penalty corner. They've come close on a couple of occasions here. Working the far sideline. Trying to get it through, but again, defensively, not as nice. If we can work it the other way and reverse it towards where 123 is set up. That's Shannon Bach right there in the middle of your screen. They've been really working into some congested areas right now. And with that traffic, it's working and playing right into Vancouver's hands a little bit. Having a harder time reversing it back towards the near side of the field. And Vancouver's taking advantage.
For sure, and just a wonderful defensive effort there from Claire Turner, number 127. Did a great job of stealing the ball off of that Milan player's stick, and then carry the ball with protection across her baseline and out of the circle to then outlet it out to her other players to then try and get it out of the circle.
One of the pluses, though, for Milan right now is they're getting better field position, which they had in the early going of this game. And there's a couple of shots right towards the keeper, having to dive to save it twice. And here comes a corner now. And keeping it at this end, the attacking third, it's going to allow them to possibly draw more corners and get shots on goal, as they had a couple right there. And having to dive was, you saw Schweigert there on multiple occasions.
Yeah, Schweigert, really great patience in front of the cage. That ball was really close to her on her baseline. Did a great job of holding strong, trying to clear the ball into space. Unfortunately, just ended up one of her saves ended up hitting her defender's foot, going for this penalty corner opportunity now.
So we saw 3 goals scored in a span of 4 minutes and 16 seconds in the first period. Well, we get our first of the second quarter. Another nice job there as getting in the way for Vancouver. That was the Netzberger, looks like. If she didn't get in the way there, that could have been potentially 2-2 as a game. Here comes the second corner. Little dump off to the right. And off the deflection, it goes through, and the goal is scored. And we're tied up at 2 apiece as Milan makes it happen off the penalty corner, with about 8:05 to go in the second.
Yeah, just a great finish. Great eyes from the inserter to be ready on that post for when that ball popped up. It was going wide. She was able to tap it back down. Great execution from them on that heads-up play.
And it looked like it might have been even towards the one that inserted it there, Bern. I couldn't quite tell.
Oh, yes. Inserter was able to tip that ball.
Tap it in. Yeah, so we'll find out who that number is that was the one that inserted it.
Olivia, just cut to that ball. That's all that is, okay? Yep. Here we go. Come on, Adley. Yes. Support her.
We'll keep an eye on.
Keep it on your stick.
Got the orange shoes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But Milan's thinking about goal number 3. And that one just got stopped by the right foot of Schweigert. Otherwise, it would have been 3-2 Milan.
Yeah, Schweigert, great clear, sending the ball out wide to her zone 3. You know, the Shippensburg commit, so great to be able to see. A lot of times for these Nexus championships, you see these players committing to Division I universities. But Shippensburg, an excellent Division II school, member of the PSAC conference, which is arguably the strongest conference in Division II. That team actually making it to the NCAA Division II championships and winning in 2021. So she's going to a well-established program. Their previous head coach, Tara Zollinger, just left that program to go be the head coach at Delaware. So they will be led by a new head coach this season, but still a great foundation of a team nevertheless.
Tied at 2 apiece with just under 6 minutes to go in the first half, as it was the first goal scored by Milan with 6:06 to go in the opening period. Then Sarah Netzberger and Shiloh Weinstein giving Vancouver the lead before the latest goal coming off the penalty corner tap in from the group in red for Milan. And now on the other sideline as Milan's going to pull it out with Shannon Bach. We mentioned her a few moments ago. She was open with some space to operate around midfield. A couple of deflections as Vancouver's coming up with Annette Sperger and Tess Hankins trying to create and make something happen. Sun's starting to shine out again here on this muggy Friday afternoon in Virginia Beach. Couldn't make the pass that time to Kayla Schudler. As a jet will fly over top of us here. I don't think we've shouted them out yet, but also want to shout out our friends with the Norfolk Airport teaming up with us here. And also a chance to tell you about Portco, our local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. They focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact them and learn more at portco.org. Here's sideline now for Vancouver. Claire Clark trying to get some room to wiggle free, but couldn't do so. And then Milan's pass is going to be intercepted there by Nadia Gross. Gross has been all over the field here, Brennan. She has been one of the playmakers that has caught my eye throughout this first half.
Yeah, Nadia Gross, just a lot of speed. It kind of makes sense considering she also runs track in the spring. She is a miler, so you need that mid-distance speed to be able to get around the track 4 times, and obviously she's using it to get up and down the field for this game.
Had someone breaking away, but just couldn't maintain ball control on that. But a corner's coming for Milan again. It's their 3rd of the period and 4th of the half, as they now have an opportunity to break this 2-all tie with just under 3.5 minutes to go in our second frame. What's working right for them to really get all these corners and put Vancouver on its heels after they had grabbed the lead 2-1 before the first quarter expired?
You know what? I think it was just a matter of circumstance in the situation. I think both teams are playing with a lot of intensity, but there hasn't been a lot of possession within this second quarter. So
we have someone else that's going to insert it here. Are you surprised by this at all after having the goal the last time that changed up who your entry?
Well, you know what? She might have been subbed already, but this looks like Leilani Stewart, who's going to be taking the insert for Milan. Very capable player in her own right. She plays for Alpha Field Hockey Club, plays also for Long Reach High School. Also is an excellent instrumentalist. She plays the bass clarinet.
How about that?
Yeah, and if you've ever heard of bass clarinet, it is a wonderful, low-sounding instrument. It's one of my favorite instruments to listen to.
And that one bouncing off the post. Didn't really threaten the keeper and Caitlin Moran for Milan.
Actually, looks like Moran might have sent that ball over the end line, which is why we have a free hit coming in for Vancouver in this situation. Which is quite smart from her to do in that situation. As a goalkeeper, you would rather send that ball in a low angle and potentially over the baseline of your own defensive end, then send the ball straight back to the middle where you're potentially getting a rebound opportunity for a higher quality shot that you honestly don't want to be trying to make the save on.
Claire Clark with the feed, and then trying to get closer was Camilla Lutt. Camilla Lutt, one that stood out with WC Eagles during their trio of club championships here recently at the training center, dominating all age divisions for numerous years now.
They sure have, and we mentioned in a previous live stream that WC Eagles has won consecutive U14, U16, and U19 club championships since 2017, in which the U19 WC Eagles team lost to Spooky Nook in, I believe it was a penalty shootout. But no other team since Spooky Nook, which isn't even a club team anymore. That's how long ago it's been. No one since them has ever dethroned them for a national club championship title.
And you say Spooky Nook, I think of the facility up there in the Northeast up there.
Yes.
In Pennsylvania, people, they have a lot of different events. And AAU basketball, among other things that take place there over the summertime.
Of course, and the former iteration of this tournament, Nexus was previously known as Futures. Those tournaments used to take place at Spooky Nook, which was the original hosting site for USA, like the national team.
Sure.
However, they have a wonderful site now in Charlotte, North Carolina. Brought to you by the University of North Carolina, Charlotte's campus, which is so wonderful if you ever get the chance to go visit for anyone watching.
Bach headed over to Leilani Stewart moments ago, but now Vancouver's got possession back here as we're down to the last couple of seconds, and the horn will sound. We've reached halftime. It's 2-all in this gold medal match for U-18 in the 2025 Nexus Championships presented by Osaka Hockey. Who's going to capture the gold? Well, we've got one more half to decide it. Keep it tuned to USA Field Hockey action on Cove Sports TV.
A history of winning started with the 65 Gators losing steam, losing sweat.
We've identified the problem. What is the solution?
A drink scientifically designed to hydrate better than water, so they could sweat more, win more, and change the game forever.
Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
Game on. Dare to differ.
Welcome to the most honest commercial you'll ever see.
And as you can see, me and you are both having trouble starting to talk.
Yep.
I mean, this is something that you're breathing in every day.
Yeah. Like 50% of the air in the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is coming from down here.
Yes, sir.
How's your crawl space looking? You say we're going to be here a while.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get busy.
Get a free and honest inspection with JES Foundation Repair, a groundworks company.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
And we're back here. It's the 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey, the gold medal match, which has Vancouver working with the white uniforms and Milan in the red jerseys, knotted up at 2 apiece. Alongside Brent Underwood, Matt Hatfield here with you as the game's first goal was scored by Milan's Anna Arnold, the Bethesda, Maryland product out of St. John's College, committed to Northwestern, was able to score it with about 6:06 to go in the opening frame. But that was the first of not one, not two, 3 goals, Bryn, that we had in a span of 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Sarah Netzberger answered for Vancouver. And then another goal was scored by Shiloh Weinstein. However, in the second period, it was knotted up thanks to the one and only Alex Agostini scoring it for Milan. And here we are, 2-2 to begin this third quarter, where it truly is anybody's game and can go either way. And it could require a shootout situation that we saw in the bronze medal game for U-16 on Tuesday.
For sure. Hey, and you know me, I love myself a shootout. So if this score stays the same just for me to be able to commentate for a shootout, I would be a very happy camper. But some great goals that we've seen throughout these first 2 quarters, throughout the first half, of course. Alex Agostini, actually teammates in high school with fellow goalkeeper Katie Moran on her team. So teammates in high school, teammates in club, teammates here for Team Milan. Member of that West Essex State Championship team, and she's a Max Field Hockey Top 100 member. And Anna Arnold, as we said, the Northwestern commit, head coach for Northwestern, Tracy Fuchs, who is here doing some evaluations, will be very happy to have seen her finishing skills on that goal. She's also a member of the U-18 Junior National Team and is a Max Field Hockey Top 50 member.
So there you have it, as it's been a pretty entertaining game thus far. Almost a minute gone by in this third quarter. That one is passed up ahead and gets away from the intended target. Now here on the move, going from left to right, is Milan. And Milan trying to get close to the net for an opportunity. Don't forget our bronze medal match coming up with St. Louis and Paris, both at 2-1-1 overall. They will be squaring off after this one is done. And again, our game are brought to you today by Osaka. Also want to shout out while we have a moment, another one of our proud supporters, and that is Town Bank, where you'll find experienced bankers who are available, reachable, accessible, and have your best financial interests at heart on or off the field. Serving others, enriching lives is what they do. Call or visit townbank.com and find your banker, member FDIC. Both these teams at 3-0-1, and here's the side in now for Milan in the red. Going to be intercepted, though, as we watch Vancouver on the move trying to create an opportunity. That one gets away from the intended target. Milan, though, seeming to keep a lot of the possession time on this side of the 50 here in the early portion of this third period.
Can you hear me? Yeah, on the phone.
But we shall see if that will remain the case.
Where you move back and forth panning,
as we've seen the penalty corner so far, Bren, controlled by Milan. Can Vancouver win this game without getting a corner? Certainly teams have done it before, but it could be a hard task if they have to go the whole way without getting one.
Yeah, there are definitely times where teams have won games without earning any penalty corners. However, what penalty corners are, besides just a scoring opportunity, but is also a morale booster for the team. Being able to earn those chances to have a shot on goal really brings confidence to a team to be able to set themselves up to keep momentum going down the field into the opposition circle to get those chances on goal, of course.
Under 12 minutes to go in the third period. Still knotted up at 2 apiece with Vancouver and Milan here in this gold medal match. Again, you want to stay up to date on what's happening with USA Field Hockey's Junior Nexus Championships presented by Osaka. USAFieldHockey.com is the place for you, and also the Turning Machine app at your fingertips gives you a chance to see the schedule right there that it's taking place. And again, we have other age divisions coming up. The championships for the U21 concluding on Sunday. What's the biggest differences you find U21, U18, U16, U14, Brendan, as we watch this matchup here near the 11-minute mark of our third period? What's the biggest differences that you see from one age group to the next?
You know, of course, there's those obvious differences. These kids are stronger. The older age groups are faster. They might have some more defined, more, specific skills that they are comfortable with. But I'd say the biggest difference and probably the most prominent would be the ability to play the ball with game sense and intelligence. Not saying obviously these young kids don't have intelligence, but you're working on the basics with them still. Being able to pass the ball into space, being able to get to the right places in the circle to shoot on goal. Whereas these field players, you're trying to play the ball on the move. You're working on once I pass, then I'm recutting to a new space. I'm talking about pre-scanning, being able to see where I'm going to pass it before I go. So a lot of those higher level skills that honestly are more when you're not holding the ball than when you are, is what these age groups do better. There's just a higher level of game sense, a better awareness of what's going on around the field, and overall just stronger unit mentality and unit gameplay for these teams instead of just the individual skill.
Couple of good looks there near the near post side for Vancouver, but Milan's able to boot them away as both teams have a host of substitutions getting ready to race in. I think, in fact, one of them being Claire Clark, it looks like, for Vancouver coming in as they're bringing in a number of lineup changes here in this third frame with just over 9.5 minutes to go, still knotted up at 2 apiece. Pretty cloudy and muggy day here from the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach on this Friday, trying to keep the threat of rain away because we have a bronze medal match coming up with St. Louis and Paris after this one is done. Both of those teams at 2-1-1. Paris won the U-16 championship while it was Athens winning the U-14 championship. And we've talked about a little bit here as we watch again the action from the far sideline trying to get an opportunity. It's going to be booted away. But for these teams, number of players trying to get themselves on the radar in addition to the ones that are committed, like the Anna Arnold who's going to Northwestern, the Amelia Blood who's going to Wake Forest for Milan, the Anna Reeser from Midlothian and Trinity Episcopal committed to Old Dominion for Vancouver. This is an opportunity for some players that aren't as recognized or known, established, if you will, to make a mark and continue their ascension, if you will.
Yeah, of course. A lot of these commitments are coming from the classes of 2026 who've already had a year of true recruitment under their belts. There are a couple, of course, 2027s that have committed already. Looking at our list here, Tess Hankins is committed to Cornell, number 113 for Vancouver. However, there's not going to be nearly as many 2027s that have committed yet, considering it's only been a little over a month since these players have been allowed to commit to these schools. And I think it's also important for these players that you don't have to commit yet. It's only been a month. You have plenty of time to still look for a school that's the best for you, especially for these players who want to look Division I. There's sometimes this pressure to have to go Division I and have to commit to Division I early. But we're actually seeing now is a lot of players are recommitting. They're decommitting their senior years, realizing that they might want to go to a different university and decommitting and committing to a new school. So it's really important for these players to stay patient, look for the school that's best for them. If they have what these schools want, the schools are going to wait for them to make their final decisions. So don't stress out. Take your time. Find what's best for you.
Good battle moments ago there from Vancouver's Nadia Gross and Hannah Ponceroli for Milan as they were trying to get possession for their team on the move. But again here, trying to get in the attacking third, we see Milan, which has had all these penalty corners in this game. They were able to score off one of them. Vancouver still shut out in that department thus far, as it is currently Milan with possession. Another slap right there by number 120. That's Ava Ewing trying to get into the shooter's circle, but back comes Vancouver on the move.
Yeah, Hannah Ponceroli, a name that we have not mentioned yet. She's actually a class of 2028, so she, as a part of that younger age group, isn't able to be recruited yet. She goes to Villa Duquesne High School as a member of Gateway Field Hockey Club. Actually, with Villa Duquesne this past year, she was a member of that state championship team. She actually scored the only goal in that game for Villa Duquesne to win 1-0 for the Missouri State Championships. So obviously a finisher and knows how to finish when the team needs her to. So hopefully that will be something that she'll be able to apply to this game. Of course, with this 2-2 tie still for Milan and Vancouver.
Nadia Gross there had another chance for a second, but Milan able to come up with possession. And Vancouver looking to get back in the other direction. Again, Vancouver, we talked about it a little bit in the second period, Brent, that they were kind of moving into some congested area. If they just get a couple of nice reverse feeds, and it's easier said than done for me to sit here and tell you that's what they got to do, and actually executing is one thing, but I think it's going to give them a great chance to get on the board here, as that one's going to be shot. Another opportunity, it looks like that was Gross that had a good look at it. But Milan really got off to the nice start thanks to Anna Arnold. And here we are with, it's going to be a free hit coming up. And here we are with Vancouver with possession now. Dumped off over to Jack Shaw into the shooter's circle, trying to work their way closer to the net along the baseline area. Again, deflected out. Another good job there. You've highlighted her a couple times in this one, Bren. We watched Leilani Stewart come through, second in her county with 29 goals last season, to go with 15 assists for a total of 73 points. She's established herself as one of the best at Long Reach High School. Oh, that one almost was able to score it through there, and nearly tapped in at the last second by Weinstein, who was so close to it.
Yeah, Weinstein doing a great job looking for that second goal of the game. Great coverage by Eliza Lewis to be in that space just in case Weinstein got that touch. Also want to really give her credit for that first ball that came down the baseline where it got caught just right underneath her pads. She was able to stay patient, make sure the ball was in front of her, and really clear it out into a space that was not dangerous for another shooting opportunity.
And Lewis is seeing the ball get close to her on a few different occasions here in the middle part of this third quarter, as we're under 4 minutes to go in the third frame. Back on the move is Milan.
And that's Anna Arnold, as we already mentioned, one of the goal scorers for Milan, being able to get the ball just down the field, send it with speed, send it with pace, get it to the opposite end line in order to create just a new space for this team to play in. Milan did a great job of countering on a really high press that they had earlier in the first half. So looking for that sort of chance again for them by sending the ball all the way down the field once they had possession in their defensive end.
Turner up ahead now on the move. It's Reeser. Reeser tries to toss it to Camilla Lutt. Downhill and on the move. Oh, a shot that scored for a goal, and the tie has been broken. Outstanding goal there as Vancouver takes a 3-2 lead and pushing it through. Put it on the board for Tess Hankins, and Vancouver goes in front, courtesy of Tess Hankins' off-balance shot.
Yeah, what a great goal from her there, being able to take the ball into open space in the circle and just rip a shot. Looks like Eliza Lewis was a little bit deep in her goal cage. That's a hard place to be able to try and cover as much goal as you can. However, just the speed and the pace of the ball, I don't think Eliza Lewis could have been any more set for that shot. It just blazed right past her.
And it was all started with the movement from Reeser. And then you watch it again here, Brenda. He had a chance, and it just going off balance to the near post side and just punched it through right past Lewis. Excellent job there for Hankins and Vancouver, going in front 3-2.
Yeah.
It's just over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you know those reverse hits, to anyone who hasn't been super used to field hockey, does look unbalanced to anyone who's never tried a reverse hit. But honestly, it takes a lot of balance to be able to get a hit off with that much power and that much speed. So for that time that shot is hit, that player is as balanced as they could possibly be in that situation in order to get that much power on it.
Milan trying to get a crossover maneuver. They lose possession, and here comes Vancouver trying to get on the other side of the 50 yet again, and here they do just that. But a good job defensively to step through and take it from Lily Oliver. That is Isabella Blunda, I believe, making that happen, as Blunda stepping forward and creating a chance for her team.
Yeah, Belinda doing a really good job of possessing the ball. Once she got that tackle, taking it with speed, forcing Lily Oliver to come in with a pretty hard tackle. As you heard that warning whistle from the official, just a little bit harder. Not giving a card or anything, but saying, hey, this is a warning. If there's another play that sort of has that physicality, they might give a penalty card in that situation.
Trying to get it off the carom there with just under 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Annie Lee stepping up as well. And you see just the extra attention here from Milan here, sensing the moment. They want to get that equalizing goal. You see from Robert Rojas cheering on Annie Lee.
Yeah, and we welcome any sort of that encouragement or comments from the people in this live stream. Love hearing from the fans who are eagerly watching their family members, friends play on the live stream. I think it's that community that field hockey builds. That's what makes this sport so powerful. It's small, but it's tight-knit.
And a big thanks to Nick and Jack out there for helping us troubleshoot some of our technical difficulties. 3 quarters in the books. It's a 3-2 lead for Vancouver on top of Milan. One more period to go to decide who takes the gold medal in the 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey. Now a word from some of our partners here on Cova Sports TV.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
A history of winning started with the 65 Gators losing steam, losing sweat.
We've identified the problem. What is the solution?
A drink scientifically designed to hydrate better than water, so they could sweat more, win more, and change the game forever.
Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
And we welcome you back. Fourth quarter about to get underway here in the 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey. USA Field Hockey's big tournament here at the Regional Training Center all week long. All the different age divisions, as we've watched earlier this week. U-14's gold medal go to Athens, the U-16 going to Paris. And who's going to capture this U-18 gold medal right now? It's a 3-2 lead for Vancouver on top of Milan, thanks to Tess Hankins' goal with 3:05 to go in the third period alongside Brent Underwood. I am Matthew Hatfield. Brent, this has been a very entertaining back and forth battle here. Milan has had the edge in penalty corners. Vancouver still trying to get one, but they've got the lead right now. So if they can hold serve here down the stretch and keep Milan from regaining some of that momentum they had to begin the game, to end the first half, they should be in good shape and position to finish off the job.
For sure. However, I feel like Vancouver in that third quarter really maintained possession, really forced Milan to have to play the defensive game throughout that quarter. And eventually, Vancouver finally broke through with that excellent goal from Hankins, as you said. That's probably great news for the coaching staff out at Cornell from the Max Field Hockey Watch List member. Did an excellent job with that goal. And I think that was finally just the reward from the amount of pressure Vancouver was pushing on that Milan team.
How about that going to Cornell? And we've talked about another one that's headed to Columbia, I think it is, in Gross. 4.0 GPA for one of the goalkeepers out here in Lewis. So we've got some brains out here, not just some athletic talents. We've got some smart cookies.
Hey, I think field hockey has some of the smartest teams. I would say that these players do know how to work it in the classroom and on the field. And it just goes to show from some of these bios that we've been able to see from these 4.0s, sometimes higher than 4.0 GPAs. These AP classes really tend to buff those GPAs up, but they're hard, and I understand why.
And it's Vancouver right now working the far sideline here with this 3-2 lead. I don't want to leave out Hankins' teammate wearing 115 from St. Louis, who's known as or regarded by one of the coaches as, quote, an elite attacker who has a keen knack for the back of the net, end quote, and that's Lily Oliver going to Harvard. So you got Cornell and Harvard right there. That's a nice tandem for Coach Paquin here in Vancouver, trying to keep possession and prevent Milan from having a chance at knotting this up at 3 apiece here. Don't forget we have the bronze medal match coming up after this one. St. Louis and Paris, both of whom fell short against these two teams, will battle it out to try to get the 3rd place finish in this event on this very steamy Friday in July.
Yeah, and what are the odds? 3 Ivy League institutions all on one team.
Yeah, that's well, they always talk about having a high IQ out there and using that to your advantage in competition. I think those players know how to do it, and as they continue to advance in this sport, only great things await them. And right now, Milan's hoping for a great finish. They need to get back on the other side of 50. They're going to try to do so here with a couple of subs coming in for Vancouver. One running into your screen and Elise Spreen for them, but you see the pressure. I haven't seen as many double teams, Brennan, this match as maybe the last couple of age divisions we've done here on our live stream, but the timing of it is just being timely with it. You don't want to get over aggressive in doing it, but if you know there's a right chance to get yourself possession and maybe a 2-on-1 or a chance with a shot on goal, you seize it, right?
Yeah, I would say the lack of, or the lesson of 2v1s would probably be from the double teams, as you said, but it would just probably be from the pace of the ball. These players know how to not hold on the ball for too long to allow those double teams to occur, be able to receive the ball, look up, send it to the next play, find those 2v1s in order to limit the amount of double teams and sort of swarmed pressure that could occur if you're keeping the ball just for a tad too long.
As Uvito chipped it ahead now, Milan with possession just inside the 50. They work it with under 11 minutes to go in regulation play. And right there with the intercept, waiting for it, it's Vancouver. Trying to make a pass is Camilla Lutt, one of the standouts for WC Eagles we watched earlier this summer.
Yeah, Camilla Lutt, a member of that U-16 junior national team, is also a member of the U.S. indoor national team. So little lesser known, but that indoor national team making it to the Indoor World Cup this year with their highest ever finish at the World Cup, taking 7th place, and Camilla a part of that roster.
Grade 2 is the lead for Vancouver, which trailed 1-0 early on, but they did not stay down for long because Sarah Netzberger was able to tie the score at 1 apiece, literally 1 minute and 36 seconds after that opening goal from Anna Arnold, a little more than midway through the opening stanza, as it is Vancouver on the move. Here they come again with Elise Breen. Thought about a give and go there, just couldn't maintain it with Milan's pressure with 2 defenders in the way of Sarah Netzberger. They working in the shooter circle here and then going airborne above the net was number 124 and Caitlin Paul, the Lansdale, Pennsylvania product. We do have a player who hit the turf pretty tough there a moment ago, but she's able to pop back up. Good to see. And speaking of the turf, the Astro turf surface has been a joy for so many competitors and athletes here in Virginia Beach, and since 1965 that brand has been driven by forward-thinking ingenuity. Today AstroTurf continues to improve its system design to deliver playing surfaces with the most realistic sports-specific performance, longest lasting durability, and sound player protection. AstroTurf.
And also a stipulation for the Nexus Championships with that card that was played. You might have seen Tess Hankins come in for that player who got carded for the Nexus Championships, as this is a selection tournament, evaluation tournament. These teams will not play with a player down if a player gets carded. So the coaches for those teams, in this case for Vancouver, Coach Paquin will be able to put another player on to replace that player that got carded.
Good to know, as Milan will get its first corner of the quarter. And if I'm not mistaken, Brent, I think this is the first penalty corner of the half. I don't think we've had one yet in this half until now.
Yeah, you're right on that.
So here we go, Milan. We'll see if they can, you see in the screen there, 118 waiting, Annie Lee. Here's a toss right in front of Lee. And going off balance, looked like that was deflected. Shot was by, I believe, Isabella Blunda. Could be mistaken on that, but that's what it looked like from my angle there, Bren.
Yeah, and more prominently, just a great defensive effort from Caitlin Paul as the trail on that defensive corner, stepping up to that shot, getting her reverse stick out, and getting just enough of a touch on it to send that ball out wide.
And how about Caitlin Paul doing it not once but twice? Because right as you were describing what she did, she basically took her stick and used the length of it to keep a pass being connected on for Milan, as Milan's working it around the perimeter here. Shannon Bach has it now in that corner area where they are pretty much tied up. Elise Breen getting in the way. And with just over 7 minutes to go, we see the defensive alignment and attention to detail working for Vancouver as they're trying to protect this 3-2 lead here and doing a splendid job. It's not so much that Milan's making a mistake here. We're just seeing some great execution as they go airborne for that pass. And then hooked up ahead. Getting to it, though, for Milan, it's Isabella Blunda again. Blunda over to Annie Lee, and then Lee has it knocked away. Quickness there of Elise Breen, who's been a little bit of an X factor in this second half, though she hasn't been directly in on a score like Hankins or Arnold or Netzberger or Weinstein. She's making things happen for her team.
Yeah, and you have to give credit to those players who set other people up for success. They're sort of the unsung heroes of the team, not always getting on the score sheet, but are the people that make those scores happen for the people that do get on those sheets.
And after two splendid defensive plays, Caitlin Paul splits the double team and then has the possession halted. Yet Vancouver's doing a nice job of milking some clock here with just over 6 minutes to go. And Milan not wanting to get over anxious here and force something, but they do know that the time is ticking down to a point where they have to step through if they want to extend this thing. Double team comes on Annie Lee. And a good job there with one of those double teamers being Finley Katz.
Yes, a little bit of a shift that we're seeing within this last couple of minutes in this quarter. It's a bit more individual skill from Milan, trying to just get the ball down the field on their own, using their midfielders with, say, varying degrees of success. I think it's important in these games to still continue to utilize the entirety of your team to be able to get the ball down the field together. As you know, even though it's 100 meters, that's about like I said, 20 second sprint. Doing that a lot of times in one game certainly going to be tiring for you as a player, and then you're not going to be able to help your team nearly as much as you would if you save that energy.
And Netzberger had it for a brief moment. There's a crossover removed. Nice job by Annie Lee. Over there's Tess Hankins for Vancouver. Hitting it up ahead, and it's a chance to be one-on-one with the keeper for Vancouver. Charlotte Weinstein curls it back in. Here she is trying to maneuver past another defender and then just loses control of it out of bounds. But there was a hold your breath moment if you're Milan, because if this becomes 4-2 as opposed to 3-2 with the time being what is under 5 minutes to go, your chances of capturing the gold medal really become a lot slimmer.
For sure, especially with just so few minutes left. That was a great defensive effort from Milan to get numbers behind the breakaway from Weinstein in that situation. And a great touch from, I believe, Shannon Bach on defense to just sort of dispossess Weinstein enough in order to get that ball over the end line off of Weinstein, and then a free hit out from Milan.
Just under 4 minutes to go in this one. It's been a really fierce battle between two worthy championship level teams, both at 3-0-1 coming in, Vancouver and Milan. Vancouver in the white unis, Milan in the red, and Vancouver's got possession along the far sideline. And that one's going to be intercepted by Milan. Let us know who you're watching, who you're pulling for on the comment section on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. And again, hit that like button, the share button, the subscribe button. When you hit subscribe, you'll get notified when we go live with all kinds of various things, live sporting events, podcasts, and so much more. And make sure you check out usafieldhockey.com and all the social channels for more as you watch all these young ladies grow the game. You see that signage right there behind them on the fence area. Here's a chance for Milan on the move with Ava Ewing. Added into the shooter circle area, but once again, someone coming through, and that was Anna Reeser for Vancouver. Bryn, we talked about Reeser that's going to Old Dominion, which has a rich tradition in field hockey out of Trinity Episcopal, the 2026 talent from Midlothian, Virginia, who's making some timely plays for her team, as is Nadia Gross, as those two have been influential in their success today.
For sure. I think ODU is going to be very pleased with how Reeser's been playing in this game. On what would have been a really strong opportunity for Milan, she just had that stick in that low block tackle, got low, shifted her weight forward and threw the ball, didn't just plant and put her stick down, but got through the ball on that play and made the tackle.
Camilla Lutz showing some open field ability as Vancouver's able to shift the field position again with just a little more than 2 minutes to go in this one. If they keep it then on this end, it will prevent Milan from having any chance whatsoever of knotting things up at 3-all as we are ticking down the time in this gold medal match. Chance to tell you that Vault Athletics and Fitness is Hampton Roads' 13,000 square foot facility where lots of excitement happens. Located in the hilltop section of Virginia Beach, they specialize in youth athlete development, personal training, small group training, and specialty fitness classes. The top field hockey and lacrosse specific training in the Hampton Roads area for all ages and skill levels too. Vault Athletics and Fitness, and you can find them on the web as well with Vault Athletics and Fitness. Give them a follow on Facebook and check out vaultathleticsandfitness.com for more. As right now, we're going to see a corner coming up. And Bryn, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first one for Vancouver this entire half.
I think you're right in that sentiment. I think it was a really great heads-up play from Camilla Lute in that situation. Got the ball on the baseline, low, which would have been a low-angle shot for her. She was able to receive the ball, look up, saw that the defender was coming in low, and was able to get that foot of the defender in order to earn a penalty corner.
So here it is, put in. And now Caitlin Paul at it, and the pass there, just away from the target, but the time continues to tick and gives them an advantage here with 30 seconds to go in a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, this gives space for probably one more offensive push from Milan to get something up the field, potentially for a shot on goal.
Milan with 17 ticks to go. Who can they find? Looking for Leilani Stewart. That one's going to get booted away by the keeper with the right foot. Down to 7 seconds. And there is going to be a whistle.
Looks like the ball didn't travel 5 meters before entering the circle on that play.
And Vancouver able to rally from the early 1-goal deficit. And now they are celebrating a 3-2 come from behind win here. The go-ahead and eventual game-winning goal scored by Tess Hankins with 3:05 to go in the third. And while we had 3 goals in a span of 4 minutes and 10 seconds in the opening frame, it was a scoreless final stanza here as they're able to win it here at the Regional Training Center. First goal of the game was scored by Anna Arnold. She had a goal scored by one of her teammates for Milan in Alexandra Agostini, but the job is a good one for Vancouver, thanks to Tess Hankins' goal, along with Shiloh Weinstein scoring and Sarah Netzberger. Those 3 helping them get it done to finish up 4-0-1, while Milan will close out at 3-1-1. Pretty entertaining game, and we've got one more to go, Bryn.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So for our entire team, from Nick Senti and Cena Shannon, Jack Lowe, and Killa Hodge, our producer-engineer, and my partner, Brent Underwood, this is Matthew Hatfield saying thank you so much for watching on Cova Sports TV. Keep it tuned for more USA Field Hockey action as we have the bronze medal match with St. Louis and Paris coming your way shortly from the RTC, the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. We'll chat with you in a bit right here on Cova Sports TV.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
From credentials to luggage tags, even time standards tags for competitive swimmers, Bag Tags creates durable and distinct functional sporting events tags that are not only used as a security measure, but are also treasured keepsakes, marking special moments and milestones in an athlete's competitive career. Bag Tag services some of the most notable sporting events across the country. Fully customizable, totally unique, and made in the USA. Visit bagtagsinc.com today.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here!
We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Get ready for the concert event of the summer.
On the road again.
Catch Willie Nelson and family. Bob Dylan. Turnpike Troubadours. And more at the Outlaw Music Festival's 10th anniversary tour, July 29th. Veterans United Home Loans Amphitheater at Virginia Beach. Get access to preferred tickets with your city card. For tickets and more, go to livenation.com and outlawmusicfestival.com.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
And we welcome you to our continuing coverage of USA Field Hockey's 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey on this Friday in July from the Training Center in Virginia Beach. Earlier we watched the gold medal match, which saw Vancouver outlast Milan 3-2. Alongside my partner in Brent Underwood, Matthew Hatfield, here as we have the bronze medal match featuring St. Louis in the white jerseys at 2-1-1, taking on Paris, who's also at 2-1-1. And Bren, this should be another good battle as these two teams were close to getting to the gold medal match, but there's no shortage of outstanding talent and some next-level athletes that will be competing in this one.
For sure, Matt. As we mentioned in the previous game, these players, a lot of them going to Division I schools, a lot of these members a part of junior national squads representing the U.S. internationally. There are some high-level players in this game, so expect some high-quality hockey like we just saw in the noon game for the gold medal.
Before we get to the rosters for each team, and again, St. Louis is in the white uniforms and Paris is in the red jerseys, let's tell you how they got here. In the case of St. Louis, they were able to reach this point at 2-1-1 by defeating the likes of Los Angeles 5-2 and Salt Lake City 2-1 on Thursday. Fell short to Vancouver 3-2 earlier today in the semifinals. Did have a 2-2 draw with Atlanta on Wednesday. Meanwhile, for Paris, they reached this spot at 2-1-1 after a 5-3 win over Rome. Blanked Berlin 1-0. Had a 2-2 draw with Barcelona on Thursday and then fell short to Milan 1-0 earlier today in the semis. Let's give you the rosters for these two teams. As you see in possession right now, St. Louis has got the white unis, but we'll start things off with Team Paris, coached by Megan Frazier. They're in the red. And in numerical order, you have Reese Samra from Woolrich Township, New Jersey, a forward from the class of 2027. From 2028's class, you have Catherine Butner from Lake Forest, Illinois, a forward, wearing number 2. Number 3 is Meadow Deanna Bell, a Yukon pledge from Newton, New Jersey. Committed to American University is Carolyn Kantz from Durham, North Carolina. Carolyn wearing number 4 from the class of 2026, a forward and midfielder. Another forward and midfielder to watch out for is Vera Shidandanan from Centerville, Virginia, Westfield High School's own, and a Columbia commit wearing number 5. You have Sophia Rousseau from Anchorage, Kentucky, out of Assumption High School. The Kentucky runner-ups in 2023 had 19 goals, 10 assists on her way to second-team All-State. Number 7 is Audrey Nelson from Newark, Delaware, committed to Temple. And we'll stop right there with Auburn because we have a penalty corner, Bryn, for St. Louis to get things underway here, not even 2 minutes in. And here's this corner for St. Louis. It gets deflected off the rebound. Karam, a chance there, but a good sign if you're St. Louis and the coach is there to see early on getting that corner, because we didn't see a lot of them in the second half. I think just one apiece in the gold medal match we watched with Vancouver and Milan.
For sure, and if you're St. Louis, getting a corner this early in the game is really great, especially for the morale of your team. And, of course, now we're getting a second penalty corner. This is really great news if you are Coach Pasindu. For this team to be able to get something potentially on goal early in the first quarter.
I'm glad you were able to pronounce coach for St. Louis. And if you can get the last name, we'll give you a raise, because I don't know if I can get that one pulled off.
Oh, he's going to be mad at me if I can't pronounce it right. He coached me last year for Senior Nexus.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's Wanagasaria. So Pasindu Wanagasaria, great player and coach as well.
Fantastic job by you. And I thought saying Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala, former NFL player, was hard to say. You just passed that with flying colors on that one there. So good job for Coach Pasindu and his crew getting 2 corners, and they almost got a goal out of that one on the far post side. They tried to squeeze one through. If they get one more corner here in this period, Bren, it'll be a chance for them to match the most corners we've seen in today's gold or bronze medal match, because Milan had 3 in the second quarter, but that was not enough for them to get the win because they fell short to Vancouver 3-2. So just because you get the corners, as we talked about earlier, doesn't mean you're going to come out on top. You got to take advantage of them.
Yeah, not always. You do have to commit. If you get a chance at the penalty corner, you have to get something on goal. Not being able to execute on a penalty corner, it's what a lot of these college coaches who are here recruiting are looking for. One of the best ways to be recruited is to be a member of an attacking penalty corner and be consistent. So whether you're a striker, an inserter, someone who goes to post, players who are able to step up on an attacking penalty corner and consistently play the ball the way they need to is really great news if you're a college coach.
Some pretty pinpoint passing there, and Frankie Lemieux had it for a second there for Paris. Let's continue on with the roster because we'll get to Frankie and some others here. We stopped last on Audrey Nelson, number 7. Elise Reagan's number 8 for them out of Royersford, Pennsylvania, midfielder from the class of 2027. You have Rebecca Block from Newton Square, Pennsylvania, wearing number 9. Tegan Hughes, number 10, out of Bridgewater, New Jersey. 11 is Irie Weinstein from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We just mentioned Frankie Lemieux from San Francisco, California, wearing number 12. Bryn Vickery from Pasadena, Maryland, is 13. Kushi Amaro from San Ramon, California, is 14. Lila Klopp from Haddonfield, New Jersey, number 15. She's a talent from the class of 2028, Camden Catholic, and went with Spirit of USA. Number 16 is Mallory Hettinger from Pennsylvania, Media, Pennsylvania, back from the class of 2027. Then your 2 keepers, Jaden Houston, 137 from Austin, Texas, from the class of 2027, and also from the class of 2027, Elena Duff from Havertown, Pennsylvania. But another well-rounded group here that's among the top 4. And if you're in the top 4, you're doing something right here at this Nexus event.
No, you're so right on that, Matt. Especially with as new as these teams are, the majority of these players have never played with each other in any sort of team format. So being able to connect with each other enough to get into a medal match is really great news.
So we've got the first corner now for the group in red. That is none other than Paris here, as St. Louis had 2 earlier in this opening frame. And we'll give you the roster rundown for St. Louis here in a moment, but we'll watch this penalty corner first here for Coach Frazier's team. And that one's going to scoop by the intended target, and it's going to be scooped up by St. Louis on the move with numbers. Here they come. Chance to get it up ahead to number 36 and Catherine St. Amand. And that one goes right through the legs of an intended target as we take under 9 minutes to go. Let's give you the roster now for St. Louis. In numerical order, number 33, Ava Rice from Pittsford, New York, is committed to Wagner. Number 34, Ella Morelli from Columbus, New Jersey. Luciana DiToso from Short Hills, New Jersey, wearing number 35, and she's a 4 from the class of 2026. Morelli from 2028. We mentioned St. Amand from Lake Forest, Illinois, a Florida midfielder from the class of 2027 who wears 36. From Poquoson High School, Elizabeth Trant, 37, a local product, and a forward from the class of 2026. Maeve McGinley, another talent from Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, a Florida midfielder from the class of 2027 wearing number 38. Cheyenne Green wearing 39 from Suttersville, Pennsylvania, a midfielder from the class of 2027. A couple of 2026 athletes in Montgomery Ferguson wearing number 40 out of Houston, Texas, and Danica Caron from Brentwood, New Hampshire wearing 41. Karis Craver wearing 42 from Pennsylvania, a midfielder from the class of 2026. You have Katie Chapman wearing 43 from St. Louis, Missouri. Abigail Gusto wearing 44 from Brambleton, Virginia, class of 2027. Samantha Lee wearing 45. She's from San Diego, California, a midfielder and back from the class of 2027. Estelle Donald is number 46 from Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, a forward and midfielder who is from the class of 2028. Atia Sabaj wearing number 47 from Lewes, Delaware, a back from the class of 2027. And Maura Simpson from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, back from the class of 2026 wearing number 48. Your two goalkeepers, Hadley Loftus from Glen Allen, Virginia, class of 2028. She's 125. And Julie Seth, number 126 from Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, from the class of 2026. So again, another talent-rich bunch that is looking to capture a medal here today to go with the gold that was achieved earlier from Vancouver in their 3-2 triumph over Milan. And another well-rounded roster here, and a mixture of 2026 players, but also some from the 2027 class, and even multiple names from the class of 2028.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, some of these players are looking to be recruited. Some of them are in their recruiting process. Some of them cannot be actively recruited yet, but these college coaches are definitely keeping a close eye on them, especially those classes of 2028, for when they are eligible to commit to a school next summer. Then these college coaches have already been able to closely watch them and their development throughout their high school careers.
We mentioned that WC Eagles club team that is so famed. Maura Simpson ran with them out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, number 48, and she's committed to Temple, number 48 there for St. Louis, as we're a little more than halfway through this opening period. Still scoreless between St. Louis and Paris in our matchup here. And that one almost popped through, and it does pop through for a goal. Put it on the board as you see the high fives. Looked like that was initially hit by number 37, Elizabeth Trant, although number 43 was right there with it. So we'll watch the replay again. It was either Trant or Katie Chapman. I'm not sure who had the last hit. Both were involved on it, though.
Yeah, it looks like 44 for White, just getting that ball.
To Gusto, okay.
So off of the rebound on that post, just a really unfortunate rebound. A lot of times for goalkeepers, that rebound, that post is your best friend. And sometimes it just hurts you and just really hurts your feelings sometimes.
Yeah, I was watching right there with Chapman and Trant, and ends up being, like you said, the rebound that gets it to go through. So put it on the board for St. Louis to take the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, great work from the Syracuse commit, Abigail Justo. She's a Max Field Hockey Top 100 player to watch. Is from Independence High School down in Virginia. Also plays for Hammers Field Hockey Club, which is a continually growing club in skill and size.
And Independence High School, a relatively new high school in Virginia. It didn't open until 2019 up there in Ashburn. But they have had a lot of success in field hockey rather quickly, ascending to championships and back in 2023. Undefeated season, beating First Colonial here out of Virginia Beach 1-0 in the title game in Class 5. As we've got another corner now, Brent, for Paris. And this is, if you're them, you want to quickly rinse away that last goal and make this an even game again.
Yeah, it looks like Caroline Kantz is here on the insert for Team Paris, sending the ball in.
Scooting to the left, trying to get a better angle. And then it gets knocked out defensively. Didn't catch the number on that, but it was a good job by the one right there by the post for St. Louis to deny it.
Yeah, the vision was there from Paris, being able just to take the ball on the left, try and find that gap that is open from the formation that St. Louis puts out on their defensive penalty corner. So trying to exploit sort of the gap that is created with that formation, but just not able to get her feet around and push the ball hard on goal. Try to opt for the little flick on the reverse. Just not enough strength for a well-established defensive line that got in front of her.
Past the 50 now on the move at St. Louis with this 1-goal lead.
It's a great pass off from Maeve McKinley, being able to take the ball into the middle of the field with speed and then find the pass to Estelle Donald, number 46, who's starting with the ball on the sideline.
And moving forward into two defenders there with Estelle Donald.
Makes sense that they have such a good connection. Both of them are members of WC Eagles. Actually, there are 5 members of WC Eagles on this St. Louis team alone. So kind of a lucky draw for them, having already played so many years together, all of them part of the same club. Already having that, connection to be able to sort of know where each of them sort of play, what are they like, where are they going to cut to on the field. So some, previous connections for them. And
while both teams, this is their, 5th game on this particular surface, been on this field, it doesn't hurt also to have been here year after year and these events at the training center. You're used to this surface. Oh, what a shot in the upper corner to post side, going away from it. And just like that in red, Paris able to even things up. Excellent job with that goal.
Yeah, just a beautiful shot right up to the upper corner. That there's really nothing that the St. Louis goalkeeper can do on that play. Hadley Loftus did her best. She was on angle. She was set for the shot. But that's just a money ball that you're not going to be able to save most of the time.
That's a highlight reel play. It evens the score at 1-1 here. So just like that, we're tied up at 1 apiece here. Paris able to get it done. So similar to what we saw in the gold medal match with Vancouver and Milan, where Anna Arnold had that goal and Sarah Netzberger answered quickly. We see within just a couple of minutes, in fact, less than 3 full minutes of gameplay, Paris able to get the equalizing goal against Milan here. Against St. Louis here.
Yeah, and that actually came off of a turnover from St. Louis. Just that player from Paris that we are trying to find her number to figure out.
Well, and after she scored, if I'm not mistaken, I think she ran off right after, if I'm not mistaken. So harder for us to catch that exact name. We'll give it to you as we get to the second quarter, though, because I believe she subbed out moments after she scored. It is a single-digit number, I can tell you. So that does eliminate the last 6 names on our sheet here, Bren, besides the 2 keepers. So we do know it's one of 9 players. I can tell you that much. It's a single-digit number.
You're a real detective, man.
Yeah, that means I have a 1 in 9 shot of getting it right. I'm not sure if I can guess who it is. Might have been Kantz, though. Hey, we're going to take a timeout. It's 1-1, 1 quarter in the books in the bronze medal match here at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach with St. Louis and Paris. Now a word from some of our sponsors here on Cova Sports TV.
From credentials to luggage tags, even time standards tags for competitive swimmers, Bag Tags creates durable and distinct functional sporting events tags that are not only used as a security measure, but are also treasured keepsakes. marking special moments and milestones in an athlete's competitive career. Bag Tag services some of the most notable sporting events across the country. Fully customizable, totally unique, and made in the USA. Visit bagtagsinc.com today.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game!
Grow the game.
Grow the game. Grow the game. Grow the game.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. If you could only see the bonus coverage, we had Bryn Underwood run the 40-yard dash in 4.8 seconds as she went out there to verify who the last goal was scored. Actually, it might have been 4.6, 4.8. You're faster than 4.8, rather. Meadow Dienabal, congratulations to her. She had the game-tying goal here with 2:10 to go in the first period of our bronze medal match here, the U-18 Girls Nexus matchup presented by Osaka Hockey. You see the numbers on the screen with Bryn Underwood. I am Matt Hatfield. St. Louis and Paris knotted up at 1 apiece. The saves in favor of Paris. The corners even so far, just like the scoreboard. 2-2 there, 1-1 on the board.
Yeah, this has been a relieving game. I think pretty similar to what we saw in our gold medal game. Just a lot of even play on both ends. I think both teams just with lucky breaks from this quick change in possession back and forth.
And here it is with Paris on the move. That one going high above the cage and sailing over the head of the net and the keeper in one, Julia Seth. So we see just the threatening of Audrey Nelson and her teammates. You see also in the screen there, Vera, number 5 for Paris as well. But we don't want to see like teams get up 4 or 5 goals. You want it to be a competitive game, which I think that the fans enjoy. And the last game was just that. It was 1-1, then 2-1 quickly in favor of Vancouver, 2-2 at the break. Goal scored in the third to make it 3-2 for Vancouver. And this one, neither team really getting that great separation. The corners are even, and this could go down to the wire and perhaps finish up with what you are hoping for, which you love, the shootout situation, if we do end up tied after 60 minutes of regulation, the 4 15-minute periods.
Yeah, I mean, we can't jinx it, Matt, but it always makes me excited when we're potentially close to one of those situations. However, we will have to wait. It is only the second quarter, so I can't get my hopes up.
Well, afterwards, if you want to get yourself something nice to take care of the appetite, go see our friends at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better and feel better, where they're bursting with fresh flavors. They offer grab-and-go catering, box lunches, too. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is on Princess Anne Road, right across the street from TCC.
Matt, do you have a favorite flavor of a smoothie from Tropical Smoothie?
I get the Jetty Punch.
Oh,
That's
you
what I
do?
get. Yeah, Jetty Punch is my go-to.
I am committed to the Blimey Limey for life.
Okay,
I'm a
have not had
citrus
that.
person, so we've been fortunate to get some of those meals from at American for a couple of years during our preseason. Was not so lucky this year. I tried really hard to get Tropical Smoothie for our preseason this year. No luck.
There you go. Well, you just got to keep hammering away at it. You know, eventually you'll get it to work.
Of course,
You'll get it to work. But it's going to be knocked out of play here with just under 13 minutes to go in the first half, and St. Louis, which had the game's first goal, courtesy of Abigail Gusto, the Syracuse commit from Brambleton, Virginia, and Independence High School, trying to get back in position to get a goal or a corner. Well, there's a corner, as that was, I believe, Cheyenne Green, Bryn, who was able to draw that. So it's the third one of the game for them, first here in this period, and we'll see what they do in terms of how they want to execute it.
Yeah, Cheyenne Green being able to get that corner off of the excellent stick work from Elizabeth Trant, being able to take that ball out of the corner with some high pressure around her. Find Green in the circle, who was able to get that foot. Elizabeth Trant, really successful player, both in field hockey and in track and field. She was a member of the U-16 junior national team back in 2023. The Virginia native. However, she's also a 7-time track state champion.
And there's a goal right off the corner. Job well done, as I believe that might have been Catherine St. Amand. They got it done, number 36, and it is. And that breaks the 1-all tie, putting St. Louis in the lead 2-1 as St. Amand is able to strike to put her team in front.
Yeah, great execution on that corner from the player at the top of the circle. He was able to send that far sweep to the far post where St. Amand was waiting for that final tip. Great work, great finish from the Illinois State runner-up.
So just like that, St. Louis breaking the tie. They've yet to trail in this game. In that first goal from Gusto, we mentioned the goal that Meadow Annabelle had for Paris. And that entry for St. Louis by Maura Simpson, it got it started. Paris trying to get an answer.
And an attempt at a baseline play by Caroline for right forward. She's one of our Division I commits headed to American University, not this fall, but in the fall of 2026. She also has she has 2 younger sisters, one of them who is of age to play in U-14 Nexus Championships, Mac Kantz. I had the pleasure of coaching her last year for U-14. However, she played in the bronze medal game this year for her second time at U-14 Nexus Championships. So both sisters playing for bronze medal matches in their Nexus age groups.
That's really cool. Really, really cool. Kant's trying to help her team today capture the bronze medal. At least she doesn't have to face that goalkeeper of the year from the Patriot League to help her team win it today. Kudos to you on that, by the way.
No,
excellent job.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna miss Caroline Kantz by about 2 years to be her teammate, but she's going into a really great team under Coach Steve Jennings, who I've had the pleasure of playing under for my 5 seasons. So great team and excellent coaching staff. I can't.
No 6, you're done at 5. You're done
Yes.
at 5, okay. Making sure, because sometimes now, you can get a 6, 7, you never know these days.
Yeah, tried filling out
Okay.
that waiver. They said no. They were like, "You're too old." Nah, just kidding. I was.
It's just, as they go try to get into enemy territory, you see the substitutions running into the screen. Number 2, Catherine Butner for Paris, among others, part of the mass substitutions. What's your, do you have a philosophy, a feel when you're in these type of events, Nexus? And again, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this, but the substitution pattern, what's kind of your belief of it and what the fans see? Because they'll see it, and sometimes there is a rhyme or reason to what they do, a method to the madness, if you will.
Yeah, well, of course, in your club championships, your high school games, you are playing your best players first, and you have the players who are most capable off the bench to be going next. So you can't always guarantee even playing time or even a chance to be able to get off of the bench when you're in high school, college, club. And that's why these players work so hard to be in the positions they are, being top players at their high schools and potentially top players at their universities when they head there. However, for Nexus, I think, of course, this is a selection tournament, so you should be able to present yourself evenly with your teammates. Sometimes that's hard. We tend to have a larger amount of forwards and mids that make it to these tournaments than true defenders. So there's either a bit of an imbalance between subbing, or you might be a mid who's going to be asked to step up as a defender in these situations in order to get that even amount of playing time. And I'm not a field player, but if I had the choice as a field player between playing less time at a position I prefer or an even amount of time or more playing time in a position I might be new to, I'm always going to pick the latter.
Makes sense, and sometimes the roles are evolving for some of these athletes when they get together in an event like this. It almost has like an all-star type of setting, some of the best competing against one another here. It is the U-18 Nexus Championships presented by Osaka Hockey. 6:50 to go in the first half. A 2-1 lead for St. Louis on top of Paris. Paris operating in the red unis, but this time it's going to be picked up by St. Louis's Maeve McGinley. Makes a good pass over to number 46 and Estelle Donald, and it gets touched out of play. And now we'll see another corner chance for the group in the white for St. Louis as they try to go back to work and extend this lead and make it 3-1 here, as this is their second of the period, fourth of the half.
Yeah, it just looks like a miscommunication between goalkeeper Alana Duff and her defender about who was going to step up to that ball. Looks like her defender went to make the play, got called for a back stick on that reverse sweep. It happens. But, of course, that means it leads to a penalty corner for St. Louis in order to try and widen this gap between these two teams.
So it's going to be McGinley, the one putting it into play. Two defenders shade over.
Oh, yeah, and just a stipulation on that rule for penalty corners. So Maeve McGinley, just a bit of a mistake on that insert. Happens to the best of us. McGinley is usually a very consistent inserter. However, because of that mistouch, the inserter is not allowed to touch the ball again in the circle until another player does. If she were to go and try and play that insert again, it would be a free hit coming out. So that's why you saw, it looked like 46 might have been Estelle Donald who came in to receive that ball and try and make another play in the circle to try and create something on goal from the broken corner.
They do a good job up there on USA Field Hockey. Go to the website, usafieldhockey.com. You can go to /Nexus for all the details about Nexus, frequently asked questions, the FAQ section, and other things with the rules and just the whole setup. So if you want a visual breakdown of everything that goes on with this event, they do a splendid job. And you got to make sure you follow their social pages. As we watch on the move here now, Brent, it's going to be Paris trying to get that game-tying goal before we get to halftime. They've had a couple of looks here. In terms of pace of play right now, I think a lot of these athletes, we hear it all the time in sports, you want to play up-tempo, you want to play fast. Is there an edge in terms of being more methodical or running gun style in a setting like this? And in this particular matchup, would you see either team having an edge in this type of case right now? St. Louis clinging to a 2-1 lead as we watch Paris try to tie things up before intermission.
Yeah, there are. Let me wait for this play on goal.
Oh, that one hit the top of the post. Believe that was by Estelle Donald, who you've talked about a little bit here. And she hit that with a lot of power, a lot of velocity, if you will, as they say. That's the big phrase word now in baseball. You always hear about velo. There was a lot of velocity on that one.
Yeah, great attempt on goal there. Man, hey, just as much as the post can be a goalkeeper's friend, the crossbar can be just as much. Just a little bit too high for that play. To get it on cage, but a great shot nevertheless.
You don't time the velo in field hockey. Do you have a little meter with that with the velo? Is that
I wish we did, but I think just because the ball is in so many different places at once, you can't really put a radar on the entire field.
Exactly. But going back to the methodical, the more up pace here with 3.5 minutes to go, is there a sense right now with either team right now? What do you think the coaches are thinking right now as they're approaching halftime? If you're St. Louis, you're feeling a little bit better than Paris right now with this 2-1 lead.
Yeah, no, there are positives to being able to slow down the speed of play. We actually saw a little bit of that strategy if anyone was watching the U.S. women's national team play Ireland back in June. USA known for their quick turnovers, their hustle sort of playing style where they take the ball with speed. They're waiting. They want that more chaotic sort of environment to be able to take the ball when Ireland would least expect it. And Ireland, knowing that that's what Team USA likes to do, was opting to keep the ball in the backfield, take slow passes around the back, and wait for an opening from an antsy U.S. press to then find some opportunities on goal. And they did find some success with that in their first game against the States, being able to slow down that speed in order to go against what the U.S. was trying to do by picking up the pace, taking it to advantage the speed that roster has for the States.
Miguel Gusto, who scored the first goal, the Syracuse commit, attempted to get St. Louis in position for another corner or a shot on goal to make it 3-1, but now on the move again it is Paris here as they've got it past midfield, but this one's just going to race out of the reach of them as they see it sail towards the fence sign by the USA flag. They're starting to whip a little bit on this warm Friday afternoon in Virginia Beach in the month of July, where it's presently 87 degrees, the humidity up to 98, and so far so good, keeping the Thunder Boomers and the rain away as we've got 1:40 to go in our first half. A couple of subs lining up there for St. Louis in the white, ready to come in. One of what you see there, Ella Morelli into your camera view. That one's going to get by Gusto for a second as Erie Weinstein was able to jump in front, hit up ahead.
And we mentioned Weinstein a couple of times in the gold medal game for Vancouver.
We did.
Irie's twin sister, Shiloh Weinstein, with that goal in the gold medal game to be able to help her team win for first place in Nexus Championships. Now we have Irie looking for the bronze medal in this game.
And this time it's going to be a goal, a penalty corner chance rather, as Rousseau bump right into Morris Simpson. So this is going to be the first corner of the period now for Team Paris. And since they're third of the half, St. Louis has got 4 so far in the half, 2 in each frame, as we're under 40 seconds to go in the second quarter. Can they even things up here before we get to halftime?
Yeah, this would be a great chance for Paris, and also just a really great sense of, I keep saying morale is the word, but this will make them feel really good going into this half with a tied goal.
And that one just a little bit of a missile shot that went wide of the post. I think that might have been by Regan. As you see, Julie Seth in keep for St. Louis, which came into today's bronze medal match with 11 goals scored, 8 allowed. Paris with 8 goals scored and 5 surrendered entering this one. And that horn sounding means we have gotten to halftime. More field hockey action coming your way, though. A 2-1 lead for St. Louis on top of Paris in the bronze medal match for 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championships. Presented by Osaka Hockey. We'll step aside, catch our breath, rehydrate, replenish, and refuel. You'll hear from, I'm sure, Gatorade and others right here on Cova Sports TV. Stay tuned.
A history of winning started with the 65 Gators, losing steam, losing sweat.
We've identified the problem. What is the solution?
A drink scientifically designed to hydrate better than water, so they could sweat more, win more, and change the game forever.
Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
Game on. Dare to differ.
Welcome to the most honest commercial you'll ever see.
And as you can see, me and you are both having trouble starting to talk.
Yep.
I mean, this is something that you're breathing in every day.
Yeah. Like 50% of the air in the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is coming from down here.
Yes, sir.
How's your crawl space looking? You say we're going to be here a while.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get busy.
Get a free and honest inspection with JES Foundation Repair, a Groundworks company.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
To our continuing coverage of USA Field Hockey's 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championships presented by Osaka Hockey. USA Field Hockey grow the game, and usafieldhockey.com for so much more. It's the bronze medal match, which right now has St. Louis on top of Paris by a count of 2-1 alongside Brent Underwood. Matt Hatfield here with you. We want to thank our entire team from Kayla Hodge here in Mission Control, as well as Jack Lowe and Shannon. And Brent, so far it's a good start for St. Louis, 2-1, but things can change quickly. What have you seen in the first half? What do you expect in the second half?
Yeah, we've really seen attack from both ends of the field. I would like to see some more true quality shots on goal. I think the shots have been few and far between, while the offensive pushes have been consistent. So we've gotten plays in the attacking 25s into the circle, but let's really continue to test these goalkeepers and force them to make some more saves with some higher quality shots on goal.
So in the white uniforms, it is St. Louis with this 2-1 lead, working now from right to left on your screen. Paris will go from left to right in the red jerseys. Both teams coming in at 2-1-1, falling in the semifinal rounds to the two teams we watched square off in the gold medal match earlier today on Cova Sports TV, which watched Vancouver prevail 3-2 over Milan thanks to Tess Hankins' go-ahead goal in the third quarter. As far as this game goes, 4 penalty corners for St. Louis through one half of play, 3 for Paris, and St. Louis was able to get on the board first thanks to Abigail Gusto's goal with 5:58 to go in the opening frame. Just literally 3 minutes and 48 seconds later, though, it was a goal scored by Paris to knot things up, and that was by none other than Meadow Dienabal. And then in the second quarter with 11:45 to go, Catherine St. Amand scoring it to break the tie and put St. Louis in the lead, which is where we are here with 13 minutes and change in this third quarter. And from the corner area, we watch St. Louis trying to get to the shooter circle area. That's going to get pushed out of bounds here with with Paris here trying to see if they can change up field position. And so far, St. Louis with this lead doing a good job of netting some corners and also spacing out the defense as they get this one into play. Back into the player that had the side in. But there you go once again, Brent, as we watch the aggressiveness here. St. Louis very active in this early part of the third quarter, as that was Maeve McGinley who got in the fray.
Yeah, McGinley consistently on that ball, gaining possession, has created a lot of opportunities for St. Louis. Part of the reason why they are in this 2-1 lead. McGinley, a member of the U-16 junior national team, also a member of the current U.S. indoor development squad, a part of that team that went to the Can-Am Cup earlier this year in March up in Toronto. Actually, I got to play with her on that squad. Is just an excellent ball handler. We've seen her skill on the inserts in these penalty corners and just attacking those sidelines, trying to take the baseline in these plays, doing an excellent job.
Ella Morelli here as she goes and tracks that down. These athletes, and yourself being one of them, has competed in various events and at American University where you were the keeper of the year, as we just touched on a little while ago. When you know you're getting evaluated, doesn't really change the mindset and how you perform out there, does it?
Well, best players, those mindsets don't change.
Okay.
The players who are the top of the class in these groups, which are already some of the top players in the country, are able to know that even though they're getting evaluated, they're still going to play the same and play with the same mindset that they would for any other game. So the level of quality should not change just because you're being selected in this circumstance.
Oh, a great look there as that was knocked away at last second. I believe that was Morelli, if I'm not mistaken, that had a look at it just a few feet away from the net.
Yeah, an excellent save there from Jaden Houston, the goalkeeper from Texas. She's also a member of the U-16 junior national team, and that right there is an example of why she is just some excellent reaction skills, being able to cover the goal on that crossing ball, watch the ball as it played into that space, off the stick, get her hand across and make that diving play. It's no wonder she just committed to Penn State only about a week and a half ago, and it's no wonder why she's getting
wealth of talent hails from the Big Ten in field hockey, as we've got our first corner op of the second half now.
Yeah, it looks like they just called St. Louis for touching the ball after the foul was called against them. So therefore, that sort of play, especially outside of the penalty circle, being considered a breakdown foul in order to limit the momentum of play St. Paris could have had, therefore resulting in a penalty corner.
I think that it's Tegan Hughes going out there for this insert.
This is a great chance for Paris to get on the board again and tie this up in the second half of this game.
Little dump off to the left. England from the far post area. It's going to be knocked out, but another chance coming up as they'll get a second one here in a span of moments. So Paris goes in front on the penalty corners now. Can they make this pay off with a game-tying goal? That's the big question. We've seen so far in this game Deanna Bell score for them. But they have other threats too. Doesn't have to be just her. And you see on the near post side, number 12, Frankie Lemieux. Now that one going high and out of play, I believe behind the fence even. Trying to go airborne for it. You spoke the other day, Brent, about the airborne way the game is certainly played internationally, not just here in the US of A, but this type of game here, that can be something that swings momentum, particularly if you're Paris trying to get back in this game down 2-1. You're not really out of it, but reclaim momentum. That's something they could possibly turn to.
For sure, Matt. You do have to have the personnel who are able to do this. At the moment, it seems like neither team is really utilizing that aerial ball, which doesn't mean that they aren't doing other things to get the ball down the field and maintain possession. It's just one sort of play that you could have in your bag of tricks that could, help you get the ball down to your opposition circle.
How about the patience of Carolyn Kantz, the American University commit, with the triple team, a trio of white shirts surrounding her, doesn't lose her focus, and yet that's the third penalty corner of the period here for Paris, trailing at 2-1 on the scoreboard, but they're getting closer and closer to really putting one on the board and tying this thing up.
Yeah, great individual skill from Kantz, especially just off that side end, being able to take the ball immediately, placed it, put that defense on their back foot, and got that chance in the circle.
I'm going to tell you about another one of our partners after this corner coming up here on Cova Sports TV. Oh, plastic dump off. Oh, and it's scored! We're tied at 2 apiece. Hugs all around, and just like that, the third corner is the charm, as that is Rebecca Block from Pennsylvania, number 9 out of Newton Square, Pennsylvania, able to get it done here to tie things up at 2.
Yeah, Rebecca Block using her experience on the U-18 junior national team. She's already in high school All-American, showing her expertise on that drag flick, a skill that's already so popular in the college game among internationals and is becoming a more popular skill with the U.S. players. Something if you can learn early is going to help you a lot, especially if you're Rebecca Block in that situation.
And now a green card being issued here.
Yeah, you mentioned in the gold medal game. For almost every other situation, a green card means that your team is playing down by 1 player for 2 minutes. However, since this is a selection tournament, which team? Yes, Paris. I almost said Milan from the gold medal game. Paris is able to put in another player to replace that player that just got the card in order to keep things even and allow another player to continue to be evaluated for the selections like we've talked about.
Ironically enough, that happened involving, remember, Hankins in the last game, and it ended up being Hankins' team with her scoring the game winner late in the third quarter. We'll see if the eventual game winner score late in the third quarter will take something that transpires in the fourth, or dare we say a shootout to determine the victor here in this bronze medal match, as that one is hit in from the side by Montgomery Ferguson out of Houston, Texas for St. Louis. A lot of Texas flavor out there in this matchup. Certainly Pennsylvania, Virginia. We've touched on some from Delaware, Illinois, but Texas, I think, just in this bronze medal match alone has got 2 or 3 players representing here for St. Louis or Paris, as we watch a little bit of some spacing out the defense, I should say, by St. Louis, trying to see if they can get a good mismatch opportunity with Elizabeth Trant now, tossing it over to a teammate on the move.
Yeah, Texas with a lot of great talent coming from that state. As we saw in the National Club Championships back in June, Texas Pride getting 3rd in the in the U19 age group for National Club Championships.
I want to hit off the corner of the near post there.
Yeah, almost another ringer into the top corner. You usually don't even get one of those once in a game, let alone twice.
And that one intercepted. A good job again by St. Louis. They get it over to Elizabeth Trant. Trant with 2 defenders sandwiching her in. She gets rid of it wisely. See if she'll get it back on the feet here. And that was going to be taken out of play. As mentioned earlier, one of our partners here on Cova Sports TV helping make our broadcast possible is Triumph Realty. What is your home really worth? Find out now by visiting TriumphRealtyVA.com. That's TriumphRealtyVA.com. 4.5 minutes to go in this third quarter. We're deadlocked at 2 apiece between St. Louis and Paris, and we have a penalty corner now on the left side of the field, so we'll see if this will result in the tie being broken, with St. Louis getting their first corner of the half, 5th of the game. So far, 6 for Paris in the contest, 3 in this quarter. So something I'm sure Coach Pessindu has been hoping for here, to see if it translates into his team going back in front with Gusto here on the near side. It'll be put into play, I believe, by, is that Donald or Morris Simpson? I believe that's Simpson who's going to put it into play.
And being on a team before with Pessindu, he is known for his really creative corners, so expect something maybe a little bit out of left field for this play.
All right. I want to bring a follow-up to you on that here, as that's going to result in another corner. That was right to the near side, as we were wondering about with Gusto, and here's the second one now coming up.
Yes, Coach Pessindu as well is a goalkeeper. He has goalkeeping experience, so he knows what it's like to be on the opposite end of this corner. So hopefully that expertise works out in St. Louis's favor.
And that one takes a couple of hops. Fisher gets out of the way. Got to give a shout out to these officials too. They've been braving the heat just like the athletes, and it's not an easy gig, but they do a superb job. And big shout out to them, as Brian Tice's crew doing a yeoman's work here at the training center this week, as we see more substitutions running to the screen with 38 and 42 for St. Louis. That's Maeve McGinley and Karis Craver, respectively, here. All right, the corners. You talked about the creativity. How creative can you get, especially in a setting like this, and as time ticks down? It's tied at 2. Do you develop the creativity? Do you scale it back? Give me the thought process.
Well, I think sometimes the best penalty corners are the ones that are able to be taken quick. And most of the times, those are the ones that are the simplest. So the quicker you can get a shot on goal, the better chance you usually get. However, being able to have some creativity and some differentiation in the corners that you take make it harder for the defense to be able to sort of interpret and also anticipate what choice you might be doing next.
Cheyenne Green had it. How about in terms of how much you can practice those? Certainly when you get together with a new group of teammates, you don't have as much time as you would during, the high school club season, college season if you're on a college team. Is it something you spend an awful lot of time, or is it also the thought process of don't overthink it to a degree?
In these tournaments, you really can't spend too much time on it. I think most coaches spend about 20 minutes of their hour-long practice that they get at the beginning of this tournament to work on corners. And then there's really not a lot of warm-up time in between these games, usually about 3 to 5 minutes for these teams to get on the field at all. So any corner practice that you're getting is minimal. So if you're going to come up with some creative corners, you probably are only going to get about 1 or 2 at best. So it's, you have to use that time wisely if you're going to use some more intricate corners in your playing style.
There you see with number 3, Meadow Dianabol, who's scored already in this match, being ridden by Atiya Sabaj.
Looks like that play was called for an intentional ball over the end line. On 47, that is for St. Louis, Atiya Sabaj. As you saw, she had her stick in that low block tackle, a parallel with the end line. Because of the way her stick is angled, it really can only mean that the ball is going to go over the end line. So it's up to the official to determine whether that's an intentional ball over the end line or not. In this case, the official thought so.
Looks like Elise Regan's going to be the one that puts this into play here. Let's keep an eye on number 2 in the middle of your screen, Catherine Butner. Lays it down for a teammate. That one's going to take a hop. Butner had a chance on the rebound. There's a nice little nifty pass and a score. And the game is no longer tied. Paris takes a 3-2 lead after that penalty corner. The 4th of the period, 7th of the game, puts them in front.
Yeah, what a great goal on that penalty corner. The initial play saved by the initial save was saved by the post player on that play, but just able to knock it back in on the rebound.
We'll come back with the 4th quarter conclusion of the 2025 U-18 Girls Nexus Championship presented by Osaka Hockey from the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. Paris with a 3-2 lead on St. Louis in the bronze medal match. More to come on Cova Sports TV.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
A history of winning started with the 65 Gators losing steam, losing sweat.
We've identified the problem. What is the solution?
A drink scientifically designed to hydrate better than water, so they could sweat more, win more, and change the game forever.
Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Atomic Wing. At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
That's right. Go follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and get yourself some Atomic Wings. They're located in the Princess One Shopping Center of Virginia Beach. 757-937-0229. They close at 10 Eastern. Tell them Matt Hatfield, Brent Underwood sent you there. It is the fourth quarter now of the 2025 Nexus U-18 Championships presented by Osaka Hockey. Paris with a 3-2 lead on top of St. Louis, and Bryn Meadow-Dianabal scoring her second goal of the game as she got that one to break the tie as airborne opportunity to begin this fourth quarter. She got that one with 24 ticks to go in the third after the penalty corner, the seventh of the game for Paris. But Dianabal having really a nice showing here with 2 goals today.
Yeah, great heads-up play from her, being able to find that rebound. First off, be in the right place to play a rebound off of the goalkeeper or just coming out of the circle, being able to be at that post just in case, to one-time it in for the finish. A great job from the UConn commit. UConn going to a school that's just won a Big East championship and made a NCAA berth. Those coaches there are closely watching her as she just committed to that institution. So great job for her.
Yeah, they're doing well in other sports besides just obviously winning a national championship this past year in women's college basketball. That group led by Paige Beckers and company. Now she in the WNBA, but with a 3-2 lead. Paris trying to maintain this and keep St. Louis from going in the lead. St. Louis had the lead with Abigail Gusto's goal early in this contest. That one's going to be saved. Nice job by the keeper coming out of net to get her glove on it.
Yeah, that was numbered 126, Julie Seth, out of Maryland. She plays for Freedom Hockey, is also a member of the Bullis School, a school that only got field hockey back in 2023. So she strictly played club and was a part of the Nexus pathway until Bullis got field hockey for their high school team, and she's been the starting goalkeeper there ever since. An excellent step out on that play, was able to get into that smother, get the ball with her stick, then able to get up from that play, find her balance, make a beautiful dive across to her right side to make the second save. Just great composure from her. I've gotten to coach her personally. It's just a wonderful personality, too. A lot of these players just so sweet off the field. They know how to be aggressive and strong on the field, but off the field, just wonderful people as well.
Corner now for St. Louis, their 7th of the game as they put it into play here. And here's another corner coming up. It'll be the 15th of the contest and 8th for St. Louis. Our last game, the gold medal match that saw Vancouver beat Milan 3-2, had a total of 7 corners, only 2 after halftime. We've already had now in this half alone 8 corners. Shot from straight away for number 44 in Abigail Gusto, and that one's going to be off the mark. But with 12 minutes and change, St. Louis trailing this Paris outfit 3-2.
Yeah, Abigail Giusto just not really able to get the same connection that she did on her first attempt in that penalty corner. Ball just bounced a little bit out wide. Not really getting a great opportunity off, which should have been a good chance for them on goal with only 12 minutes left to go in this game.
Trying to stretch out the defense. St. Louis now with Maura Simpson. Gets it right back on the feed. Now coming into your view is number 39, Cheyenne Green. Back to the direction they go with Atia Sabaj. Here's Craver tries to pass it along the far sideline, but that's out of reach of, looks like Elizabeth Trant was the intended target there.
Yeah, Karis Craver, we haven't mentioned her much yet. She goes to Warwick High School in Pennsylvania. A very storied program there with quite a few state championships under their belt. Most recently, last year in 2024, she's also a Max Field Hockey Top 50 member and is headed to Ohio State in just a couple of years. Actually, next fall, not this upcoming one, of course, in fall 2026.
How about that? The Junior Nexus Championship U21 division features 6 teams, and that's going to get underway starting tomorrow. 7:30 a.m. The games featuring Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, as well as Atlanta and Amsterdam. And the championship medals will be away at 10:10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday here on Cova Sports TV. We'll bring it to you. And if you want to follow what's happening with USA Field Hockey and the Nexus events, just go to usafieldhockey.com and get the Turning Machine app. It's available at your fingertips on your mobile device. Go to Turning Machine and type in Junior Nexus Championships, and you can see all the results and the schedule. And it's updated pretty swiftly. And that one's going to take a hopping behind the net. The U-14 champions, Athens. The U-16 champions, Paris. And earlier today, Vancouver, the U-18 champs, edging Milan 3-2. And here comes another corner. It's going to be the third one of the frame now for St. Louis. Paris with this lead, but it's a tenuous one here as St. Louis continues to knock on the door.
Yeah, and if Paris keeps giving up these penalty corners, it would only be a matter of time before St. Louis is able to bat one of those balls in. Of course, as we said before, the number of penalty corners doesn't always coincide with the more goals you get, but it certainly does help with consistently peppering the defense, peppering the goalkeepers. You only have 4 field players in that goal and your goalkeeper to be able to attempt to stop this shot on cage.
Vancouver only had one in the final frame of the last matchup that they won.
Yeah, St. Louis just not able to capitalize on that play again. Just another mishit. If they're able to just get connection and a shot on cage, they might be able to find an opportunity more on a rebound than a direct hit, as we saw with Paris with their goal that is now allowing them to lead 3-2 from Deanna Bell. Did not come from a direct shot, just came from being in the right place at the right time in front of the cage to get that loose ball straight into the goal.
Ella Morelli playing defense there along the near sideline. You're getting the close-up camera angle with number 13 in possession of the ball for Paris. That is Bryn Vickery. Haven't talked a whole lot about her from Pasadena, Maryland.
Not at all. A great name, by the way. I'm not biased at all. Yeah, she plays for Warhawks, is from Chesapeake High School. She has been a 3-time Nexus selection, and her older sister Eve was a goalkeeper at Delaware, graduated back in 2023. So, of course, as we say before, a lot of field hockey families, I mean, including Sophia Rousseau, who we've mentioned a little bit, has a younger sister, Maddie, who played in U-16 Nexus, so who played for her age group. We've already talked about Irie Weinstein, her sister Shiloh, helping getting that gold medal in the championship game. So a lot of siblings, of course, in these Nexus championships.
And trying to thread one through with just over 7 minutes to go. Paris with this 3-2 lead. It'll be turned back over to St. Louis now. Chance to tell you that if you're looking for all things field hockey, you can stop in at Pain and Gain. It's located in the Princess One Shopping Center of Virginia Beach, where they carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and more. Try out your stick before you buy it, and their synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game. Paris on top of St. Louis 3-2. And right now, we see the defense for St. Louis getting very feisty again behind Morelli. And here's a chance one-on-one with the keeper, and number 38, Maeve McGinley, just could not handle it there for a moment.
Yeah, McGinley, as we said before, consistently getting in the circle with chances on goal. I think she has more time there than she thinks to be able to receive the ball, really move Jaden Houston in goal, and get a quality shot outside of just a reverse sweep right after she received it.
We did happen to see a shootout take place in the bronze medal match of the U-16 division. Paris was the champions of the U-16 as they beat Montreal 3-1, but Milan winning the shootout over St. Louis 2-1 on Tuesday here at the Regional Training Center in Virginia Beach. And now in the red, it's Paris trying to make something come to life here to make it a 4-2 cushion. They're looking for that 2-goal lead, which we talked about before in hockey, or field hockey rather. It's not always an easy thing, but if you get it in the fourth quarter with time ticking down, then it gives you that little sigh of relief. And right now, as they've got possession inside the attacking third, trying to do some damage, And that one's going to go behind and out of play, behind the net.
Yeah, it looks like these players are starting to get a little bit tired. It makes sense. It's a hot day outside. It's sunny. It's only 5 minutes left in the game. These players are working hard, and you can tell by the effort they're putting out and the heavy breathing. You can see the hands on the hips. These players are putting their all into this game, and now it's a matter of my energy might not be able to get me through the end of this game, so I've got to rely on my skill and my teammates in order to move the ball around me.
And if you're Coach Frazier of Paris, how much are you thinking? Not so much the stall tactic, if you will. You can't really do that, but playing the keep away here and going that methodical approach here with 4 minutes ticking down. You're getting close to that point where you can start to really do that, correct?
Yeah, and especially in this situation, for Nexus Championships, we play with a running clock. So if you're earning penalty corners, you have a couple of seconds to be able to gather, get the ball set up, and that takes about 30 seconds off the clock. So if you continue to get penalty corners, you're winding that time down and giving St. Louis no opportunities to get to the other end.
And that was the first corner of the fourth here for Paris, which had 4 in the third, their 8th of the game. And St. Louis trying to quickly change up the field positioning right here and now as Sabaj dumps it off to a teammate. They work the far sideline, but not an easy task right now. And you mentioned the fatigue. It certainly is becoming a factor. And for these athletes, it'll be nice to definitely get the hydration and maybe get one of those nice cold treats. You can go get one right down the road from us at Dairy Queen Lansdowne. Every day is sweet when they're serving you blizzard treats like M&M's, Reese's, cookie dough, and Oreo fudge brownie. Oh, that sounds so good. They thank you for being fans all these years, and here's to many, many more. Dairy Queen, it's fan food, not fast food. Grill and chill. Definitely chill. 3 minutes and change here on the move. Paris with a 3-2 advantage. Here's Reese Samra.
What a great jab from Sabal on that defensive play. Just got a little touch off of that stick in order to stop that baseline attempt.
I haven't told you a whole lot about Samra today, part of that New Jersey Group 4 state championship team where she had 5 goals and 3 assists for her squad out of Woolwich Township, New Jersey. Two defenders again trying to just button them up, and that's Samantha Lee for St. Louis.
Yes, Samra also part of the U-16 junior national team back in 2024. So having a little bit of that international experience as well. A lot of these players getting that chance to play overseas through this pipeline that Nexus does provide for these players to, represent the states at a higher level.
Shadandadan. That's Vera Shadandadan, the Columbia commit with it. Into the teeth of the defense in the shooter circle area. Gets deflected out. Passed over by her teammate in Kushiyama. And right now the clock not on the side of St. Louis, trailing at 3-2.
Yeah, and if you're Paris in this situation, you don't have to go to goal. The biggest goal for you is to keep the ball. So if you want to attack the cage, you want to pressure St. Louis to have to stay within their defensive 25 because, 1 goal is a small deficit. 2 goals is a huge deficit. So force them to have to make that defensive play or maybe take the ball back around, make them chase. It's just a matter as to what Coach Megan Frazier wants for them. And she is no stranger to success herself, a 2-time NCAA champion at Maryland, also the Honda Award winner, one of the highest accolades for a collegiate field hockey athlete. She's now the assistant at Stanford, a well-storied program there. But if you're her, you've had this experience of, winning and being at the top level. How do you play this situation in order to give Paris the best chance of having limited chances on goal from St. Louis who are trying to tie this up?
St. Louis on the side end going airborne for this one. It's going to take a hop and getting close here to having a chance with number 36. That's Catherine St. Amand, who has scored today. St. Amand had the goal that put them ahead 2-1 with 11:45 to go in the second quarter to go with Gusto's goal in the first period, but both goals this half scored by Paris with Rebecca Block, and then the second one from Meadow D'Anibal late in the third quarter, as Paris is closing in just 15 seconds away from a comeback win in the bronze medal game, just like we had a comeback 3-2 triumph for Vancouver over Milan in our gold medal match. And with under 10 seconds to go, they can sense it, as indeed the bronze medal will go with the horn sounding to Paris. A come from behind winner, 3-2 today over St. Louis, as they huddle up and hug each other and celebrate this win in the heat on a Friday in July. It's got to feel good for them, Bren.
Yeah, what a great game for them. Really tight game between both teams. You know, coming back from a 2-1 deficit is hard, but Paris was able to do it and then, you know, keep momentum going into that fourth quarter and to limit St. Louis's opportunity. St. Louis with a great push at the end of that game, but just not enough.
So that's going to conclude our coverage. Paris winning the bronze medal here in the 2025 Nexus Championships for U-18 presented by Osaka. For our entire team, from Nick Senti and Jack Lowe to our producer engineer Kayla Hodge, Steen and Shannon on camera, and my partner Brent Underwood, I am Matthew Hatfield. We thank you for watching. Keep it tuned to USA Field Hockey and usafieldhockey.com for so much more. The Turning Machine app at your fingertips to tell you who's playing who and when and where. Plus, subscribe to Cova Sports TV for all your live streaming needs. We'll talk to you again coming up on Sunday for the U-21 Championships. We say so long in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game!
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Grow the game.
Get ready for the concert event of the summer.
On the road again.
Catch Willie Nelson and family. Bob Dylan. Turnpike Troubadours. And more at the Outlaw Music Festival's 10th anniversary tour, July 29th. Veterans United Home Loans Amphitheater at Virginia Beach. Get access to preferred tickets with your city card. For tickets and more, go to livenation.com and outlawmusicfestival.com.
Game on. Dare to differ.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Where did you learn what it means to reciprocate? How much can I be expected to tolerate?